What's up, bike guys and bike girls? Welcome back to part 2 of our Bianchi Thomisus bike build. So if you all remember, in part 1 we stripped down this Bianchi and cleaned it all up so that we would be ready to build it up into the masterpiece that it is today. If you guys haven't already seen the part 1 of this bike build series, go check that out. That was the video that I released last weekend, so it is my most recent YouTube video, or if you're watching this somewhere in the future, it will be the video that I posted directly before this video. So without any further ado, let's build this bike into the masterpiece it is. Sick. So the first thing that we're throwing on the bike is a quill stem adapter and modern stem. The reason why we're doing this is so that we can accommodate for some newer style handlebars. And as you'll see, the newer style handlebars that I'm going with is potentially what you might say is the basic option, because at this current moment, everybody that's rebuilding retro mountain bikes are kind of throwing this MX style handlebar on there. So yes, it is kind of that basic option, but they look really good, so you can't blame me for wanting to throw these handlebars on there. The handlebars that I am throwing on are actually from an MX store, so they are fully dirt bike handlebars. And to accommodate for using dirt bike handlebars, I needed to use a shim. Next thing I threw in was the seat post. This was a brand new seat post. Just one of the cheaper options that I was able to find on an online bike store. So nothing too special here with the seat post other than it fits the seat post opening of this bike and is a nice shiny new silver. So this was really the first look at what this bike was going to look like, and all I can say is I was so excited at that point. The next thing I went to go throw on was the rear derailleur. I went with the Shimano XT rear derailleur, much newer rear derailleur. So not going with the same time frame of this bike and not going for a match to the time frame of this bike, and upgrading it to much newer components with this XT derailleur here. Here I'm just messing with the limit screws, trying to get everything somewhat dialed before I throw on a chain and anything else. Then I go to throw on the shifter and brake levers. For the shifter, it's just a Shimano XT 9-speed shifter, compatible with the XT derailleur that I got on there. And then for the brake levers, we're just going with some older C-Star levers. I think this combo looks really good with these MX style bars as well. So really happy with how this all looks and how it all functions ultimately as well. Moving on to cabling the rear derailleur. The really interesting thing about cabling the rear derailleur and rear brake was the routing for it all. With this frame being such an interesting design, both the rear derailleur and rear brake were cabled in very interesting ways. For the rear derailleur, you'll notice that when I'm actually setting the cable in the rear derailleur, I realized that I missed an eyelet because one of the eyelets actually goes through where the rear brakes mount onto the frame. So very interesting frame equals very interesting cable routing, and it was very interesting to cable up this bike. Brakes are one of my least favorite components of a bike to work on, and I still haven't got brakes dialed yet to the point where I can just do them mindlessly. And also to take into consideration, the rear brake here was a brake that I've never worked on. It wasn't a V brake, it wasn't a canny brake, it was this weird exchange sort of brake to match the frame. It seems to be some sort of canty brake, but it was something that I had never worked on. So cabling up the rear brake actually took me a little bit. You won't see all of that footage because, one, I didn't want to film it all at one point, and two, it would not be very interesting to see me struggle with brakes. But the rear brake was a bit more of a hassle than the front brake. The front brake went on quite nice. So, yeah. So, up until this point in the bike build, everything was problem free. I didn't have any issues or any problems throwing on new components to this vintage bike until it came to the bottom bracket. So when I pulled the bottom bracket out of the bike, I deduced, with the help of some more experienced bike mechanics than myself, that the bottom bracket was an Italian threaded. This basically means that both sides of the bottom bracket were right-hand threaded versus English bottom brackets where the drive side is typically reverse threaded or left hand threaded. So, understanding this and measuring the size of the bottom bracket shell as well as the spindle length, I had my dimensions and knowledge of what the bottom bracket was to order a new one. So, I ordered a new bottom bracket. This bottom bracket took about a month and a half to get to me. Makes sense because I live in Australia and it's hard to get things over here from overseas. But it was a very long process for it to get here, especially when this was the last part I needed for my bike. So I finally got my new bottom bracket, and I was so excited to open it up. So here's the clip of me opening up my new bottom bracket. Hey guys, Bike Guy Alex here. I've been waiting like 2 months for this stupid bottom bracket to come in, and I think it's here. And if this isn't the bottom bracket, I might cry. And if it's bad, I might also cry. So let's hope it turns out to be good and I didn't get scammed. Okay. It's looking good for now. $70 by $110. Oh, brother.
What bike is that going on?
Bianchi. Yeah, it goes like this. Okay, should we go put it in? Now, I was very excited to open up this bottom bracket because I thought the bike build was about to be finished, having this part in my hands. I would soon be devastated when I came across a very odd issue. The issue that I came across was that this Italian threaded bottom bracket that met the same specifications as the bottom bracket that I pulled out of this bike would not fit. This makes, obviously, no sense. Because if I pulled out an Italian threaded bottom bracket that with a 70 millimeter shell, a Italian threaded bottom bracket with a 70 millimeter shell should be able to fit back into the bike. However, this was not the case. So, I reached out to one of my best friends and very talented bike mechanic, Ben Cycles, via a FaceTime call at 5 in the morning, Australian time, because he lives in Denver, Colorado. So I had to make sure I caught him before he was off to bed. So, I will now reenact our FaceTime call. Yo, Ben! What's up, dude? Oh, nothing much, man. Just been working on a lot of bikes, refurbishing some really, really cool vintage bikes. Go check out my website at Ben Cycles to see all of these really, really cool bikes and parts that I got up on my website. Oh, for sure, dude. I'll definitely go check that out. But Ben, I ran into an issue, and I need your help. Yeah, bro, of course. I got you. Any day of the week. What's your issue? So, I got this new bottom bracket, right? It's the same size as the other bottom bracket, but it doesn't fit in the bike. Are they both the same threaded, Alex? Well, that's the thing, Ben. They're both Italian threaded, but this new one doesn't fit in the bike. Yo, dude, you should probably try like chasing the threads of the bottom bracket shell. Like maybe that's your issue. Maybe it's just not catching the threads because they're a little gunked up. Okay, sick, dude. How do I chase the threads of a bottom bracket when I don't even have a thread chaser? Oh, dude, it's all good. It's a really easy solution. You could just take the old bottom bracket and just screw it back in to the shell. But every time it starts to feel like it's catching, back it back out and then keep tightening it. So it's going to be a little bit of a long process, but you're going to want to tighten it a little bit, back it out, tighten it a little bit more, back it back out, and slowly do that until you get all the way in. And then you'll be all set. You'll have the threads chased, my guy. Oh, Ben, dude, you're a lifesaver. Thank you so much. I really hope this works. Dude, for sure. Make sure to go check out my website, though, because I sell so many freaking cool bike products. Oh, don't worry, Ben. I will check that out. And guess what, Ben? Because you're an amazing human being and my best friend, I'm definitely going to shout you out in my next YouTube video. Oh, dude. Appreciate that. You're the homie. Love you, bro. Love you too, Ben. Hope to see you soon. So after chasing the threads of the bottom bracket shell, I tried to put the new bottom bracket back in the bike. Coming to find out that I was met with the same issue once again. That the new bottom bracket would not fit into the bike. At this point, I was very frustrated, a little bit upset, and I had no idea what was going on. So, I took my bike, both bottom brackets, the new one and the old one, to my local bike shop to get a second opinion and a second pair of eyes on this problem. We came to the solution that yes, the old bottom bracket was Italian threaded or right hand threaded on both sides. However, another key detail and difference of Italian bottom brackets to English bottom brackets is the diameter of the threads. English threaded bottom brackets have a slightly smaller thread size than Italian threaded bottom brackets. So the solution we came to was that the bottom bracket we pulled out of this bike was an Italian threaded bottom bracket with English sized threads. This was a bottom bracket that I obviously have never seen because I'm a novice bike mechanic. But this was also a bike mechanic that the individual at the bike shop who told me he had been working in the biking industry as a mechanic for 20 plus years had also never seen before. But huge shout out to this guy at the bike shop because he came up with a genius solution. While it might not be a lasting solution, it is the solution we're running with today because it's the only thing that we could figure out would actually work. What we ended up doing was taking 2 left-hand cups of a English threaded bottom bracket because both of those cups are right-hand threaded, and put an English sized bottom bracket into the bike. So, will this solution last the tale of times? We will have no idea. But this is a bottom bracket that, in theory, does not exist. So this is what we had to do so that I would be able to finish this bike and get it up and running. Finally, with the bottom bracket figured out, I was able to throw on the cranks and chain and complete this bike. I really hope you guys have enjoyed this video because it took a very long time to get to this point of being able to finish the bike, and it took a lot out of me building up this bike. But with that said, I couldn't be happier with how the bike turned out. I fully believe at this point that this will be a forever bike for me, that I will have this bike until it breaks, or until I potentially find the Bianchi Thomisus in the purple and black colorway. Then I might get rid of this one, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. So I believe that this bike will be with me forever. I'm so happy with this bike, and yeah, I hope you guys liked it too. So, with all that being said, Bike Guy out. We'll catch you next time.